Hello everyone, I am Sunil Manodi, TGT English from Kendriya Vidyalaya ONGC Dehradun. Student, today we are going to read chapter number 8 of your book Beehive, and the name of the chapter is Reach for the Top. Before I start this chapter, I want to tell you that Reach for the Top is divided in two parts. The first part is based on the life of Santosh Yadav and the second is based on the life of Maria Sharapova. Both extracts reiterate the relevance of the age-old adage, where there is a will, there is a way. There is no substitute for hard work. Life is not a bed of roses, and we do get pricked by the thorns before we are able to cherish the softness of the petals and the fragrance of the flower. So here we begin this chapter, and this chapter is dedicated to Santosh Yadav. As you all know that Santosh Yadav is the first woman in the world to climb Mount Everest twice. Her story is inspiring despite being born in a squat society which did not welcome the birth of a girl child, where girls were married off at 16. She made her own path, followed her desires, and achieved world fame. So let's start this chapter. The only woman in the world who has scaled Mount Everest twice was born in a society where the birth of a son was regarded as a blessing and a daughter, though not considered a curse, was not generally welcome. When her mother was expecting Santosh, a traveling holy man giving her his blessing assumed that she wanted a son, but to everyone's surprise, the unborn child's grandmother, who was standing close by, told him that they did not want a son. The holy man was also surprised. Nevertheless, he gave the requested blessing, and as destiny would have it, the blessing seemed to work. Santosh was born the sixth child in a family with 5 sons, a sister to 5 brothers. She was born in the small village of Joniawas of Rewari district in Haryana. When this article was written, Santosh Yadav was the only woman in the world who climbed Mount Everest twice. She was born in such a society which was biased toward having a male child over a female child. Although they did not consider the birth of a girl child to be unfortunate, but it was not celebrated either. When Santosh was to be born, a saint, assuming that Santosh's mother wanted a son, blessed her that she would beg a son, as she already had 5 sons. Santosh's grandmother said to the saint that they did not want a son. The saint was amazed to hear this and blessed her alternatively. The blessing turned into a reality as Santosh was born. She was the youngest child, a sister to 5 brothers. Santosh was born in a village named Joniawas in the Rewari district of Haryana. The girl was given the name Santosh, which means contentment. But Santosh was not always content with her place in a traditional way of life. She began living life on her own terms from the start. Where other girls wore traditional Indian dresses, Santosh preferred shorts. Looking back, she says now, from the very beginning, I was quite determined that if I choose a correct and a rational path, the other around me had to change, not me. Although Santosh's name means contentment means satisfaction. She was dissatisfied with the traditional way of life. From a young age, she started living life on her own terms. While other girls wore traditional Indian dresses like salwar, kameez, she preferred wearing shorts. Santosh recollect that from childhood, she was determined to live life according to what she felt was right for her. If she was right in her way, then others would have to change their way, not her. Santosh's parents were affluent landowners who could afford to send their children to the best schools, even to the country's capital, New Delhi, which was quite close by. But in line with the prevailing custom in the family, Santosh had to make do with the local village school, so she decided to fight the system in her own quiet way when the right moment arrived. And the right moment came when she turned 16. At 16, most of the girls in her village used to get married. Santosh was also under pressure from her parents to do the same. The meaning of in line with is following or in accordance with or according to. Santosh's parents owned land and were wealthy. They could even afford the money to send their children to the study in schools in Delhi, which was near their village. Still, due to prevailing custom, they decided to send Santosh to a school in the village. Santosh decided that she had to take her own path when the right time came. At the age of 16, as most of the girls in her village were married off, she was also pressurized by her parents. A marriage as early as that was the last thing on her mind. Last thing means the least important thing. She threatened her parents that she would never marry if she did not get a proper education. She left home and got herself enrolled in a school in Delhi. When her parents refused to pay for her education, she politely informed them of her plans to earn money by working part-time to pay her school fees. Her parents then agreed to pay for her education. For her means Santosh Yadav, getting married was nowhere in the list. She wanted to get proper education before getting married. Santosh left home and get admission in a school in Delhi. Her parents refused to fund her studies and she gently replied that she would herself fund her studies by working part-time. Upon seeing her determination, the parents softened their stand and agreed to pay for her education. Wishing always to study a bit more and with her father slowly getting used to her urge for more education, Santosh passed the high school examination and went to Jaipur. She joined Maharani College and got room in Kasturba Hostel. Santosh remember Kasturba Hostel faced the Aravalli Hills. I used to watch villagers from my room going up the hill and suddenly vanishing after a while. One day I decided to check it out myself. I found nobody except a few mountaineers. I asked if I could join them. To my pleasant surprise, they answered in the affirmative and motivated me to take to climb. Here Santosh said, since then Santosh progressed gradually to become an accomplished mountaineer. Santosh wanted to be highly qualified and her father accepted her wish. After passing high school, she joined to Maharani College at Jaipur and stayed at Kasturba Hostel. The Aravalli Hills were near the hostel. Often she saw blazers climbing the hills and disappearing behind it. She was curious to know what was beyond the hill, and one day she decided to find out. Santosh found a few mountaineers who allowed her to join them in their mountaineering expedition. Then there was no looking back for this determined young girl. She saved money and enrolled in a course at Uttarkasi Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, which is also known as NIM. My college semester in Jaipur was to end in April, but it ended on the 19th of May and I was supposed to be in Uttarkasi on the 21st. So I did not go back home. Instead, I headed straight for the training. I had to write a letter of apology to my father without whose permission I had got myself enrolled at Uttarkasi. Santosh said that she saved money to get enrolled in mountaineering course at the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering at Uttarkasi, which is at Uttarakhand. As her college semester end got delayed and she did not have time to visit home before reporting at the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, she went directly to the institute and wrote a letter of apology to her father because she had enrolled for the course without his permission. Thereafter, Santosh went on an expedition every year. Her climbing skills matured rapidly. Also, she developed a remarkable resistance to the cold and the altitude, occupied with an iron will, physical endurance and an amazing mental toughness. She proved herself repeatedly. The culmination of her hard work and sincerity came in 1992, just 4 years after she had slyly asked the Aravalli mountaineers if she could join them at barely 20 years of age. Santosh Yadav scaled Mount Everest, becoming the youngest woman in the world to achieve the feat. If her climbing skills, physical fitness and mental strength impressed her seniors, her concern for others and desire to work together with them found her a special place in the heart of fellow climbers. Santosh went on an expedition every year and improved her skills gradually. She developed immunity to cold weather and high altitude. And high altitude means heights. Santosh had the qualities of physical strength and mental strength and strong willpower. In 1992, just 4 years after the first casual climb on the Aravalli Hills, she climbed Mount Everest. She was 20 years of age. Santosh became the youngest woman in the world to climb the peak. Her seniors were impressed by her qualities of physical strength, mental strength, and a strong willpower. Her companions on expedition found her to be concerned for others and willing to work as a team. During the 1992 expedition to Everest, she tried to save a fellow climber but was unsuccessful. Here it is written during the 1992 Everest mission, Santosh Yadav provided special care to a climber who lay dying at the South Pole. She was unfortunately unsuccessful in saving him. However, she managed to save another climber, Mohan Singh, who would have met with the same fate had she not shared her oxygen with him. Here Santosh Yadav said that during the 1992 expedition to Everest, she tried to save a fellow climber but was unsuccessful. She was successful in saving another fellow climber, Mohan Singh, who fell short of oxygen by sharing her oxygen with him. Within 12 months, Santosh found herself a member of an Indo-Nepalese women expedition that invited her to join them. She then scaled the Everest a second time, thus setting a record as the only woman to have scaled the Everest twice and securing for herself and India a unique place in the annals of mountaineering. In recognition of her achievement, the Indian government bestowed upon her one of the nation's top honors, the Padma Shri. Describing her feelings when she was literally on the top of the world, Santosh has said, "It took some time for the enormity of the moment to sink in. Then I unfurled the Indian tricolor and held it aloft on the roof of the world. The feeling is indescribable. The Indian flag was flying on top of the world. It was truly a spiritual moment. I felt proud as an Indian." Also a fervent environmentalist, Santosh collected and brought down 500 kg of garbage from the Himalaya. Within the next year, she had joined a group of Indo-Nepalese mountaineer women. Then she climbed the peak the second time, becoming the only woman to have climbed the Everest twice. Santosh made India proud by getting her name recording in the historic record of mountaineering. The Indian government honored her achievement by giving her the Padma Shri award. Santosh recollect her feelings when she was literally at the top of the world. She took time to realize that she had achieved something big. She hoisted the Indian flag atop Mount Everest on the highest point of the world. She cannot put the great feeling into words. She felt proud to be an Indian as she believes in preserving the environment. She did her bit by bringing down 500 kilogram of garbage from the Himalaya. So dear student, this is the end of first part and we will start second part of this chapter right now. The second part of this chapter is dedicated to Maria Sharapova, who was born on April 1987, is a Russian professional tennis player, a United States resident since 1994. Sharapova has competed on the WTA Tour since 2001. She has been ranked world number 1 in singles by the WTA on 5 separate occasions for a total of 21 weeks. She is one of the 10 women and the only Russian to hold the career Grand Slam. She is also an Olympic medalist, having earned silver for Russia in women's single at the 2012 Summer Olympics held in London. So let's start. There is something disarming about Maria Sharapova, something at odds with her ready smile and glamorous attire, and that something in her lifted her on Monday 22 August 2005 to the world #1 position in women's tennis. All this happened in almost no time. Poised beyond her years, the Siberian-born teenager took just 4 years as a professional to reach the pinnacle. This is the picture of Maria Sharapova. And here she lifted the WTA trophy. There is some quality in contrast to Maria Sharapova's smile and glamour, which makes her likable. It is this quality that helped her achieve success as she attained world #1 position in women's tennis on Monday 22 August 2005. Maria's calmness and elegance is beyond her age. She was born in Serbia, Russia, and as a teenager, she took only 4 years of training to become the top seeded women tennis player. Pinnacle means the most successful point. However, the rapid ascent in a fastly competitive world began 9 years before with a level of sacrifice few children would be prepared to endure. Little Maria had not yet celebrated her 10th birthday when she was packed off to train in the United States. That trip to Florida with her father, Yuri, launched her on the path to success and stardom, but it also required a heart-wrenching 2-year separation from her mother, Yelena. The latter was compelled to stay back in Siberia because of visa restrictions. The 9-year-old girl had already learned an important lesson in life, that tennis excellence would only come at a price. The fast growth of her career started 9 years ago when she made a big sacrifice, which can be made by very few children of that young age. She had not even turned 10 when she was sent to Florida, USA with her father for training in tennis. She was extremely sad as she had to spend 2 years separation from her mother, Yelena. Maria's mother was forced to stay back in Siberia because she did not get the visa, the permit to travel to the US. At the tender age of 9, Maria learned that in order to excel of tennis, she would have to make many sacrifices. I used to be lonely, Maria Sharapova recalls. I missed my mother terribly. My father was working as much as he could to keep my tennis training going on, so he could not see me either. Maria recollects that she used to remain alone and miss her mother a lot. Her father worked hard to fetch money for her needs, and so he also could not meet her. Maria was very young, and so she would go to sleep at 8 p.m. The other student would return at 11 and would wake up her, ordering her to clean the room. Instead of letting that depress me, I became more quietly determined and mentally tough. I learned how to take care of myself. I never thought of quitting because I knew what I wanted. When you come from nothing and you have nothing, then it makes you very hungry and determined. I would have put up with much more humiliation and insult than that to steadfastly pursue my dreams. Here Maria says that she did not get depressed by all this. Instead, she became determined and mentally tough. She took care of herself. She never thought of leaving the training because she was determined to achieve her aim. When a person has nothing, he craves and becomes determined to get it. She says that she would have borne greater humiliation and insult also in order to achieve his dreams. The toughness runs through Maria even today. It was the key to her bagging the women's single crown at Wimbledon in 2004 and to her meteoric rise to the world number one spot the following year. Maria retains her determination till present day. This determination led her to grab the women's single trophy at the Wimbledon Championship in 2004, followed by the rapid climb to the top position in 2005. While her journey from the frozen plains of Siberia to the summits of women's tennis has touched the heart of tennis fans, for the youngster herself there appeared to be no room for sentiment. The straight looks and the answers she gives when asked about her ambition make it amply clear that she considered the sacrifices were worth it. I am very competitive. I work hard at what I do. It's my job. This is her mantra for success. Tennis fans feel emotional to know about Maria's journey from the frozen region of Siberia, but she is not moved by it. She gives a straight answer when questioned about her aims, which imply that she accepts that the hurdles and challenges she faced were worth the result that she got. She adds that she is competitive and work hard as she considers it to be a part of her work. This is Maria's secret for success. Though Maria Sharapova speaks with a pronounced American accent, she proudly parades her Russian nationality. Clearing all doubts, she says, I am Russian. It's true that the US is a big part of my life, but I am Russian citizenship. My blood is totally Russian. I will play the Olympics for Russia if they want me. Maria's speech has an American accent, but she is proud to be a Russian. She says that USA is a big part of her life because she trained there, but in the core of her heart, she is a Russian. She holds the citizenship of Russia. Her ancestors are Russian and she is willing to represent Russia at the Olympic too. Like any number of teenage sensation, Maria Sharapova lists fashion, singing and dancing as her hobbies. She loves reading the novels of Arthur Conan Doyle. Her fondness for sophisticated evening gowns appear at odds with her love of pancakes with chocolate spread and fizzy orange drinks. Like other teenagers of her age, Maria's favorite pastimes are fashion, singing and dancing. She likes to read novels written by Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes. She likes to wear fashionable evening gowns. Looking at her fit body, it is unbelievable that she likes to eat pancakes with chocolate spread and drink orange flavored drinks. Maria Sharapova cannot be pigeonholed or categorized. Her talent, unwavering desire to succeed and readiness to sacrifice have lifted her to the top of the world. Few would guess her the riches she is now reaping. This is what she has to say about her monetary gain from tennis. Of course, money is a motivation. Tennis is a business and a sport, but the most important thing is to become number one in the world. That's the dream that kept me going. In conclusion, Maria Sharapova says she cannot be put into a particular category. Pigeonhole means classified or categorized. Her talent, urge to succeed and sacrificing nature helped her reach the top position in women's tennis. No one will oppose the benefits that she is getting now because she made many sacrifices to get them. She says that money does motivate her to work hard. Tennis is both a sport and a business, but the most important aspect for her was to reach the top spot in women's tennis. It was this dream that kept her working further. So, dear friend, this is the end of second part of the chapter, Reach for the Top. I hope that this explanation will be useful for you in your study. Thank you very much for watching and listening.